I'm pretty sure the only people that view this as a rivalry is all of you. Like, for us, like, it's just a game of basketball.
The WNBA just announced its first ever Rivals Week for the 2025 season, mimicking the NBA's concept of showcasing marquee rivalries for ratings. So now they're not just taking their cash, they're also taking their ideas. Everyone loves a good rivalry. So this should be a slam dunk, right? Well,
surprise, surprise.
It's already a flop. As soon as it was unveiled, fans took a look at the list of rivalries and then ran to X to laugh the league off the platform. They picked apart every matchup and player with surgeon-level precision. It seems like the WNBA has not learned its lesson when it comes to leveraging its most valuable marketing asset. Caitlin Clark. I think there's more at play here based on some of the WNBA player feedback we've heard lately. The drama and jealousy continue. Let's get into it and see if the W is going to fumble the Caitlin Clark bag during its most important season. But first, comment below what your favorite WNBA rivalry is, or if you think fans only want to watch Caitlin Clark. So it's no secret that the WNBA has been desperate to spark rivalries to drum up fan interest. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert has repeatedly emphasized how important star showdowns are for growth.
Need rivalry. That's what makes people watch. They want to watch games of consequence between rivals. They don't want everybody being nice to one another.
Engelbert openly dreamed that the Clark-Reese matchup could be a Magic Johnson versus Larry Bird moment for the league, referencing how those two Hall of Famers' college rivalry jump-started the NBA in the 1980s.
It is a little that Bird Magic moment, if you recall, from 1979 when those two rookies came in from a big college rivalry, one white, one black. And so we have that moment with these two.
The idea was clear. Two charismatic and competitive college players could captivate the nation and put the WNBA on the map in a new way. Well, she was half right.
I think that was the right decision by Christie Sides not to challenge it. Would have been a tough one to get. Clark off the screen, finds some space, and delivers! It's a triple for Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark went on an absolute tear after last year's Olympic break, averaging around 23 points per game during that time frame, and winning Rookie of the Year and doing it all in dramatic fashion. She led the Fever to the playoffs for the first time since 2016, and drew millions of new viewers in the process. And while Angel Reese lit it up on social media and racked up brand partnerships and attracted new fans, she didn't have the same impact. On the court, she averaged a double-double, which is great, and all but was dogged by poor scoring efficiency, especially from within 5 feet where she was among the worst in the league. And then there were the what I'll call out takes.
Avery comes up with the board. Long pass, perfect to Reese. She was unable to get it in.
Caitlin was being compared to Steph Curry, while Angel was being compared to Dennis Rodman. Don't get me wrong, rebounds are critical, and Angel had a great rookie season overall. But sorry, she's just not in Caitlin's league. It's a rivalry that's, at this point, propped up by the WNBA for ratings. Fast forward to now, and the league is actively trying to manufacture more storylines. Thus, WNBA Rivals Week was born, set for August 9th to 17th. It's a special slate on the 2025 schedule where each game is supposed to showcase a heated rivalry. Engelbert herself touted that having a full week of rivalry games will drive that playoff push and engage fans at a critical time in the season. In theory, it's a savvy move. The NBA has done a similar rivalry week for a few years now, and it's generated buzz with classic matchups like Lakers versus Celtics. The WNBA wants some of that action. So what matchups are on deck for this inaugural Rivals Week? According to the announcement, we'll see games like Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever versus Angel Reese's Chicago Sky, the New York Liberty, versus the Minnesota Lynx, the Atlanta Dream, versus the Phoenix Mercury, and the Golden State Valkyries versus the Los Angeles Sparks. So how did fans react? Well, it was brutal. The moment the WNBA announced Rivals Week, social media filled up with jokes and jabs about how fake it felt. The most common criticism, none of these are real rivalries.
Off to Stewart! 28 years in the making! The New York Liberty are WNBA champions!
Fans pointed out that aside from the Liberty versus Lynx who just battled in the finals, the matchup seemed pretty random. Atlanta versus Phoenix. Sure, the Brittany Griner storyline is interesting if you're a longtime women's basketball fan, but do casual fans care about Brittany's backstory? And the loudest eye roll of all was reserved for the inclusion of the Golden State Valkyries, the expansion team. As one sarcastic comment put it, how can an expansion squad have a rival already? The league touting a newest rivalry in California between the Valkyries and Sparks was met with open mockery. It's obvious that the only thing linking those teams is geography, and that's all fans on Reddit and X, essentially, called the WNBA out for trying too hard. It felt like the league was slapping a rivalry sticker on any matchup they wanted to promote. The Chicago versus Indiana pairing especially drew jeers. People know the only reason it's being labeled a rivalry is the Clark versus Reese angle. Otherwise, the Sky and Fever have no notable rivalry to speak of.
With it, Bill Lambier sure-handed normally.
And now they have to fight for this series. DJ Brown throws Charlie Ward. Watch out. This one's going to get really ugly. DJ Brown pricked Charlie Ward up and threw him into the photographer's row.
True rivalries in sports are earned over years of meaningful clashes, playoff battles, maybe some trash talk or controversy. You can't just slap a Ferrari kit on a Kia and call it a Ferrari when your most devoted followers respond with memes and skepticism. That's not the hype the league was aiming for. The W's marketing team certainly noticed the blowback. It raises the question, why is the WNBA pushing this so hard, and why now?
And there's somebody who brings something else up.
There's a deeper tension here for the WNBA, the balance between promoting its big stars and being fair to all its teams and players. But the hard truth is, in entertainment value, all players are not equal in terms of drawing power. We just saw how Caitlin Clark took over the league's metrics in 2024. That inevitably means other teams and stars got comparatively less national spotlight.
With such star power on those teams, it's really no surprise they're atop the list for the most games available for you to check out on a national scale. The Fever, they lead the league with 41 games here, followed by the Aces 33, the champion Liberty at 32.
When the 2025 national TV schedule was released, it caused an uproar among some players and fans. The Fever are slated for 41 out of 44 games on national TV or streaming, by far the most ever for any WNBA team. Meanwhile, the defending champion knew York Liberty will have 32 nationally broadcast games. It's clear why networks expect higher ratings when Clark is playing, but it rubbed some people the wrong way. Minnesota Lynx star Nafisa Collier was asked about this on ESPN's First Take, and she gave a pretty candid answer.
I think it's two things. I mean, obviously people want to watch Caitlin play, and so you have to put the people on TV that people want to see. But at the same time, like, there's stars all over the league, and you want good basketball as well. Obviously, Indiana, especially like with their free agents, they're gonna be a great team. But to not have the defending champs on TV more, I think it's kind of crazy.
The league found itself on the defensive, saying, "Hey, we don't choose the TV schedule; the broadcasters do." And that's true. ESPN and CBS want the games that draw, but the optics of it were tricky. It fed into a narrative that the WNBA was over-indexing on one new star at the expense of others. So now we have Rivals Week, which, intentionally or not, feels like an attempt to spread the spotlight around a bit by designating special games for everyone. The league can say, "See, we give attention to all our franchises and players, not just Caitlin." The problem is doing this via artificial rivalry. Labeling might not be the best approach. It's almost as if the WNBA is caught between two impulses. One, ride the wave of star power to grow the game aggressively. And two, be inclusive and equitable in promoting all teams, so veteran stars and other markets don't feel ignored. Rivals Week tries to thread that needle. For instance, they'll still ride Clark versus Reese as the main event. You can't ignore the big draw. But they're also saying, hey, look at all these other rivalries, not just Caitlin Clark. Here's the thing. Rivalries cannot be forced. Sports history tells us that the most iconic rivalries grow organically from repeated high-stakes encounters, or genuine dislike, not because the league office said so. Lakers versus Celtics became legendary after meeting in the finals numerous times and trading championships. The UConn-Tennessee women's college rivalry was fueled by two coaching giants, Auriemma and Summit, constantly vying for supremacy. So fans look at something like Valkyries versus Sparks and roll their eyes. The Valkyries haven't even played a season. How could they possibly have a fiercest rival already? No amount of marketing. Speak can convince a savvy fan that there's a blood feud there. At best, it's a regional rivalry attempt, Northern California versus Southern California, which might over time become something, but it's not there yet. Similarly, calling any random matchup a rivalry just to include it dilutes the meaning. Fans are smart. They know a genuine rivalry when they see one.
I'm pretty sure the only people that view this as a rivalry is all of you. Like, for us, like, it's just a game of basketball. Like, that's what it is.
Even the main event, Reese versus Clark, doesn't truly reflect a bitter on-court rivalry between teams in the WNBA sense. It's a personal matchup with roots in college drama, but in the WNBA, the Indiana versus Chicago storyline doesn't have meat on the bones beyond these two rookies had two famous encounters in March Madness. The players themselves have repeatedly downplayed any beef. In other interviews, Clark has said she doesn't get why people paint Reese as her adversary. We're not best friends by any means, but we're very respectful of one another. Yes, we've had tremendous battles, but when have I ever guarded her? And when has she guarded me? She noted, pointing out that they don't even match up directly. Much Angel Reese, for her part, has expressed respect for Caitlin as well, even saying, "I love Caitlin."
Here's Asia Wilson knocking down her first look.
Superstar versus superstar. Instead of pretending every team has a rival, put the league's biggest names in the spotlight. Fans will tune in to see great players go head-to-head, rivalry label or not. Imagine a clash of MVPs, Clark versus Asia Wilson. Game promotion. That doesn't need a fake rivalry backstory. It's exciting because of the talent and stakes. It could even be framed as a potential finals preview or measuring stick game. Those kinds of individual marquee matchups sell themselves to basketball fans.
And there's the buzzer. It's an even dozen for Chino Oriema and Connecticut.
Rookie showdowns with college roots. The W is getting an influx of extremely popular college players. We know the college fan bases are following them to the pros. So schedule and promote games like Paige Bueckers versus Caitlin Clark Wings versus Fever heavily, which to the league's credit they plan to do. Another one, if TCU's Haley Van Lith becomes a starter, a game between her and Bueckers could draw interest given they're from the same draft class. These aren't rivalries yet, but there's a built-in audience from college days marketed as star rookies face off, rather than slapping a rivalry label prematurely. Let their play and maybe a little friendly smack talk will create an ongoing competition. Finally, they can promote finals rematches and playoff grudge matches. This is what the WNBA is doing right with the Liberty and Lynx. That is a rivalry in the making. A finals rematch always has extra juice. Similarly, if the Aces and Liberty meet in playoffs again, circle those games on the calendar. Those two franchises with their superstar rosters are developing a natural rivalry. If it doesn't fall in Rivals Week, the league can still hype their regular season meetings as marquee events without needing a special week title. The key is using recent history that fans witnessed and cared about. At the end of the day, true rivalries can't be manufactured on command. Fans gravitate toward authenticity, and they'll decide for themselves which matchups are must-see. The WNBA's new Rivals Week is a bold attempt to package excitement, and it will undoubtedly showcase some great basketball because the talent in the league is the best it's ever been. But calling a game a rivalry doesn't make it so.
Offensively, 2 offensive possessions, 2 buckets for the Fever. Caitlin Clark for 3, rattles it around for her first deep shot.
The league might get more traction by letting these stories write themselves. Caitlin Clark is going to draw crowds and viewers whether it's Rivals Week or not. She proved that all last season, Angel Reese will continue to develop, and maybe one day she and Caitlin will genuinely be duking it out for a championship. Then we'll have a rivalry worthy of the name. Forcing a narrative of they hate each other or good versus evil, when none exists, can feel hollow. The WNBA is in an exciting growth phase largely thanks to these new faces. The smart play is to ride the wave of interest in players like Clark and Bueckers Reese, etc. by showcasing their games, but also respect the fans' intelligence. Give us the matchups we want? Yes, but don't tell us what to feel about them. If a rivalry is truly there, we'll feel it. If it's not, no hashtag or sponsorship is going to convince us otherwise. What do you think, is the WNBA on the right track with Rivals Week? Or should they pump the brakes on trying to fabricate feuds? Drop a comment with your take. And if you're still here, drop a basketball in the comments to say, "Hi, thanks for watching."